How was that Nvidia earnings? Was it as good for you as it was for me?
It was great. It's excellent. Let's see if the market agrees today. But
They popped them up and right off the bat and then gave it all back. What does that mean to you?
now let's see in the regular session what happens.
Got it. Now that the adults are in the room.
Yeah. Salesforce report was really good too. We'll get to that. But in more important news, did you catch the game last night? I wish Spencer was here.
I'm not sure which game you're referring to.
This was a absolute mollywhopping of epic proportions.
What sport are we even talking about?
A truly historic Big East beatdown, a diabolical dismantling by Danny and the Dogs. I have some stats for you. Have you ever heard of a team not scoring a field goal for the last 17 and a half minutes of the game?
We're talking about basketball.
0 for 24 from the field. Basically didn't score a basket the entire second half, JC.
And then which teams were playing?
UConn St. John's. This was the biggest margin of victory, in the history of the rivalry. These teams have been playing for a long time. I think it was the fewest points scored in school history for St. John's.
On St. John's, little St. John's.
They are on a 13-game win streak. They beat UConn 2 weeks ago, which is why they got whooped.
Who'd they beat? Who'd they beat? Who do they play? Do they play Fordham, Columbia, NYU, Pace? Is that who they're playing?
The truth about St. John's is that they're a borderline elite program this year. Came in at number 15 in the country, just beat UConn, like I said, 2 weeks ago. And the stomping that we gave them in Hartford last night just touched me.
And why was the game in Hartford?
So UConn plays half their games at Gamble Pavilion, which is the arena on campus that the students can walk to. And then they play the other half for business purposes in Hartford, which is the capital of Connecticut. Much larger arena. Draws a bigger crowd, makes more money.
Hartford's a pretty shitty place, though, right?
Awful. Yeah.
There's like a nice neighborhood outside of Hartford where there's some insurance sugar daddies, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. West Hartford. There are some beautiful towns around there. Yeah.
A lot of these insurance companies, they just print money. Someone's got to be getting rich.
Yeah. No, there are nice towns up there. I wouldn't know much about them, but they exist.
They exist. Yeah, that makes sense. They should exist. All right, let's get to it. Time to party. No Spencer today. Just me and Strazza. Holding it down. Let's go. Hit it, Izzy. Hit it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back on the morning show. I'm JC Parets. I am joined by Mr. Steve Strazza. No Spencer Israel today, but we do have special guest Jeff Mackey, who's got the hot hand these days. This is Jeff Mackey's Christmas right now, right in the heart of consumer earnings season. We got the homie Sean McLaughlin. Sean McLaughlin is a trader, philosopher, not a great judge of sports franchises. Not so much that, but he's good at other things.
Or Olympic hockey.
I was seeing Buffalo catching strays over the weekend. They were talking about how Canada lost the World Series to America, right? Canada lost the Stanley Cup to America. Canada lost Stanley Cup to America. They even lost in football. They also lost, right? I feel like they were just picking on Buffalo there, talking about how Buffalo didn't even make the Super Bowl. I thought it was Buffalo catching strays there. I don't know if that was well deserved or not, but it's funny. All right, so before we get into the state of the markets, just kind of right off the bat, today is Thursday. Tomorrow is the last trading day of the month for TradFi. And so we're going to get new monthly candlesticks, baby. How do we feel about that?
Some are going to look great, and others are going to be indecision candles. Right?
There's gonna be a lot of them that are looking great, man. There's gonna be so many good ones that are looking great. But what about just yesterday? What kind of information do you think we got yesterday? Now that the earnings from the world's most important index is behind us, shot up immediately about 180 billion. That's about a Boeing in the after hours, and then gave it all back. So
Yeah,
gained the Boeing, gave it back in about an hour. Does that mean anything at all to you, or now you just want to let them see them dance during the day?
I think we get our answer in this session and the coming sessions. I think Salesforce, the reaction here is important too. They sold it off a little bit, but if you look at that chart, it's in some sort of bottoming process, it appears. That would be a big one, right? The big software names do need to dig in, I think, for the health of the broader tech trade. And Nvidia, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at Nvidia next week, the week after, and it's making new record highs. Because there's not much more. And here's the thing: if that's not the case, it's kind of concerning because it's right back to that same conversation we keep having. What more can you do? What does the market need to see? This company is insanely cheap.
Can you tell
And
me what's the takeaway from the reports yesterday? I mean, everybody knew it was going to be like crazy historic, like absolutely crushing it on all levels, and that turned out to be true.
I think the revenue is like exceeding Apple's annual revenue now. It's around 216 billion, so that's in that range. Growing at 73% year over year, right? So same quarter last year, and then 20% quarter over quarter, which is it's just insane. It doesn't happen for companies of this size. Jensen's out there actually came to the he came to support the software sell-off, and he kind of called it ridiculous and said, no, there's no AI without software. We need the software companies. The software companies are going to be the ones building on AI. And he tried to clear up like all these agentic fears. And he's saying, no, the agents.
What is an agentic fear?
Well, he made a good point, right? He said, so it's
That's a
that
new word for me,
everything.
agentic. I don't know that one.
Agentic is a form of the word agent, right? So the agent is like your bot that does shit for you,
Got
right?
it.
That's where a lot of these
Agentic.
fears are
All
coming from.
right, I'm gonna start using that. If I use that, do I sound smart?
I think so.
All right.
But the point he made, he said, like, when you have your bot one day, it's not going to make a new freaking microwave. It's going to use the old microwave. That's just going to do it for you, right? So he was saying the agents are going to use the software tools. They're not going to build new ones for everything. That's stupid. There's great tools out there. The agents are just going to learn how to use them. So he's trying to kind of clean up this software mess out here because it is in his best interest, obviously, for these companies to do well as big customers of Nvidia. But just, in general, the guide was, big beat again, raised the guidance above where the whispers were. Diluted EPS up 98% year over year. I mean, the gross margins are just stupid. JC, 75%? What?
75% gross margins?
What?
Not bad.
75% gross
Good
margin?
business.
Doing over 200 billion in revenue? It's just silliness. So if they don't
It's
reward the stock
crazy.
today, tomorrow, in the coming sessions, you have to be a little bit concerned because it's almost impossible to do better than this. There was a hot take on the internet yesterday. I think it was Brad Freeman, our friend of the show. And he just said it's amazing how like market participants have been conditioned to expect this and then not even be surprised or excited by it.
Right.
And I think that's a great point. And if you throw up the earnings scorecard, it's what we've seen. If we get a little reaction up 1% like we are right now, that would just be the same thing we saw for the past 5 quarters,
Let's zoom out. Throw up the next slide there. So what I did was I went back and I calculated the Fibonacci extension levels going back to the dot-com bubble decline for Nvidia back in the old days when it was a small cap stock, and also the great financial crisis decline for Nvidia. And that matches up right here. The blue one is the dot-com bubble extensions, and the black is the great financial crisis extensions. And look where Nvidia is consolidating above.
Yeah, love
You
to
think
see
that's
that.
a coincidence, Strazza?
No, I don't. And when you zoom out, you didn't zoom out forever here. You just zoomed out a couple years. I mean,
But the
wow.
extensions go back 25 years.
Oh, that's from the .com extension.
Yep.
Great. Yeah. Fantastic.
You like that, huh?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Like it a
How many,
lot.
how many people are doing that, you think?
Not enough, JC. Not
Yeah.
enough. I think that more price targets will be hit for Nvidia in the future. Simple as that. There's the man right now. The Huang is all over the TV today,
Hold on,
doing his
are you
rounds.
really calling him the Huang?
I'm long Huang. I believe him. I believe him. I trust what he's saying about the software companies.
Long
I'm
Huang.
in.
So you're
Long
long the
Huang.
dong and you're long the Huan?
Yeah.
You think the Huan is long the dong?
Is Huang Long Dong? Probably.
Probably, right?
Probably.
I was thinking the same
Vietnam,
thing.
beautiful place to do business, beautiful place to set up a factory. People should look at it. People should take a look over at
How's the
Vietnam.
golf in the how's golf in Vietnam?
The best in the world. I'm excited for a golf trip that's coming up in a couple weeks here. I need some more golf in my life.
Dude, there was a moment in time where Strazza is like, I'm gonna go spend 3 months in Vietnam. What happened to that?
Oh,
Life got in the
this
way.
one. I would still a man can dream.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Just a man, his dog.
No dog.
No dog. They poop too much? You're more of a cat lady. Yeah, Strazza is more of a cat lady than a dog guy. Yeah, there it is.
My little baby.
Which one's that one? Is that Lola cat?
That's Lola cat. She's the office cat.
She's the office cat, the Lola cat. All right.
Yeah.
Can we go to that software chart and then we'll get into the state of the market? So up slide 6 there. This is what Strazza was alluding to before. If they were ever going to come in and buy him, this is exactly where it would be. Historic volume on what day was that? Tuesday? Highest volume day ever for the IGV. And this goes back to the late 90s, by the way. So plenty of time to have big volume. Man, if there was ever a time, this would be a logical place for them to buy it, no?
And they tell you, right? A good technician will tell you, hey man, don't try to catch a falling knife. That's silly. But there are tools that we can use to stack the odds in our favor. Right. So when you start seeing things like we're seeing in software, worst momentum since whatever, lowest RSI since whatever, biggest drawdown since whatever, right? Going back decades for all of these numbers. And then you look at a chart like this, and you could clearly define your risk at this monster level where we've seen buyers show up in the past over and over and over again. You can take a shot responsibly and limit your risk to a couple bucks here in the event you're wrong, and maybe, just maybe, get a great longer term entry and stuff. So I think this is more for like long term folks, people with a primary trend focus, trying to get things on sale. Software, and I know I've been saying it and I've been early, but really worth a look here. And you can do this in a very responsible way. And even if you look at some of the individual components, something like Microsoft at the VWAP from the bear market lows, there are levels out there that you can lean into and use to make some responsible entries at some very logical levels.
Throw up the Goldman Sachs Prime book there so you can see historic short exposure by Goldman Sachs's hedge fund clients. Absolutely pressing their shorts down here near support. Steve Strazza, let me ask you this. Pressing short positions into historic support. Is that historically a good idea?
Shorts are eventually going to get their faces ripped off. They probably got a little taste of it yesterday. You had a moment there where software stocks were ramping, didn't finish as strong as I would like. But that's what that'll look like. An up 5% day is probably only right around the corner for this whole group.
Strazza, is it bad for technology stocks if semiconductors closed yesterday at a new all-time high on both an absolute and on a relative basis?
No, it's probably the single most bullish intermarket evidence that you could have. If you said to me, what's one group of stocks you would like to see working that would make you think that software would be working? I would either say internet or semiconductors, right?
I couldn't agree more. All right, I got the state of the markets. Let's do state of the markets, and then we got a few more charts. What do you say? Hit it, Izzy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the world's most important stock market index, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, up 90 points this morning. That's 49,006 and a quarter. 49,006 and a quarter. That puts it approximately 375 points from Dow 50,000. S&P 500 futures are essentially flat this morning. We're looking at 69.65. 69.65 up 6 handles on the day. NASDAQ 100 futures 0.0. Mr. Blutarski 25,388 up 10 handles on the day for the NASDAQ 100 futures, and 30-year bond futures essentially flat. 117.5. Crude oil down 1.6%. 64.5. Copper flat at 603. Gold down almost 1%. 51.82. Silver down 4.4%. 87.5 with the VIX. 17.5 down slightly on the day. Over in funny money land, big day for the funny money. Bitcoin back above 68,000 flat this morning. You got the old Ethereum 2069 up 0.5% on the day. Solana flat at 87.82, and that brings the total crypto market cap, Mr. Spencer Israel, if you're out there listening, 2.33 trillion. How do we feel about this morning's futures?
And that's another one, JC, right? That's like point for software. Look at the cryptos yesterday.
Yep.
Hey, crypto.
That's a software situation right there, huh?
I mean, JC, it would be just perfect. It would make me happy as a big price action polarity person if Bitcoin dug in right here in reverse and we look back and said, oh, of course it did.
Of course it did. Can we talk about, speaking of which, you had a 2,100% return in less than 24 hours?
I send them. We have so many great people working for us, marketing and on emails and on all this different stuff that we do. And sometimes I want them to know what's really going on out here. So I'll send them trade tickets just to say, here's what a day in the life.
What a day in the life of the breakout multiplier looks like.
So I already had a position that was down 60% yesterday in Coinbase weekly 180s. I said, I'm going to buy a couple more here. Nothing crazy. A couple $100 turned into whatever, almost 10,000. So yeah.
So a couple $100 turned into $10,000 in less than 24 hours. Not bad.
Look,
not bad.
You don't often get a 15% move in a day, but if you do and you're positioned for it and you understand coils and volatility compression, you could set yourself up to be in that position where it happens maybe more often than it would for most people. And that's all we're trying to do here. We're happy to take zeros. On the Coinbase trade specifically, I took 2 shots early and was wrong, but I'm happy to do that, right? Because I can lose a couple times if I know my risk reward structure. If I know that when I finally win on this, I'm going at least 5, 10x. I'm happy to lose twice being early, right? So it's the whole story isn't 2,100% or whatever. It was that we were stalking this move, looking for this trade. It finally hit. It hit in a big way. Paid for a loser or two along the way, and nice profits.
It's like a late night drunken slice of pizza that's really too hot. You take a bite, you burn your mouth. You're like, all right, give it 30 seconds. You take another bite, you burn it again. Yes. But you're not just going to throw the pizza away. You're going to wait a little bit longer, and then you're going to attack. Am I right?
That is such a good analogy. And I do that too. I do the same thing there. Yeah. Take a couple shots, and then finally you get that magic bite.
And then you wake up in the morning and it's like, what the fuck happened to my mouth last night?
Shout out Colony Pizza, currently serving corned beef and cabbage pizza. And it's actually pretty damn good.
Corned beef and cabbage pizza? What kind of communist shit is that, dude?
Only in Connecticut do you have the best pizza actually made by the Irish. It's just a beautiful thing. Gotta love it.
Corned beef and cabbage on a
corned
pizza?
beef and cabbage pizza.
That's some California shit right there, man. No thing. They're putting broccoli on their pizza. Those people are odd.
It's not like something I would order regularly, but if you're feeling festive for the holiday and you want to get a little corned beef and cabbage pizza, Colony Grill's got you.
I had one the other day. It was what did they call it? I don't know what it was, and it had broccoli and onions, and it was terrible. It was
broccoli and onion on the pizza. You didn't like it?
Well, because my wife's cousins, one of them's married to a guy that owns a great pizza parlor, and they do the food there is awesome. They crush it. Crush it, and so I just trust whatever they do.
Right.
They teach me how to make their meatballs. They don't use veal. They also use very little breadcrumbs. Their meatballs are off the chart. So little tricks of the trade. These are things I talk to. Guys that own Italian restaurants. I try to get in. You're like, all right, how about a little,
Right.
Yeah, I'm just a dumb Cuban. I don't know nothing about, Cubans don't know anything about veal.
You're lucky to have friends like that, though. You know what I mean? That's That's
And
nice.
they're willing to share. I think I'm a little bit annoying sometimes because every time I see them, I'm like, so about that
How
veal
you doing
parm.
this? How you breading your chicken these days?
So how you get it so tender? You know, and then
Beat the
I
hell
think
out of it.
they were like, oh, we use real veal. I guess there's like a fake veal out there that you could use.
No.
I don't know. Like they were very proud that they use real veal. I don't even know what that means.
The
Like what, as
broccoli
opposed to what?
situation, but the broccoli situation on the pizza, that tends to be like a trash pizza or like garbage pizza, they call it, where they just throw like too much stuff on. It's like a veggie pizza. You ever have a
It's some
garbage pizza?
California shit. The rule of
Yeah.
thumb is very simple. The more shit they put on the pizza, the more they're trying to hide how bad it is.
Absolutely. So, which is why when you go test out a pizza joint for the first time, you get cheese and you get pepperoni.
Yeah.
That's it. You try those
And you
two.
got to hold it up because if it's Floppy Johnson, you got to go. Time to go home. You get one of these Floppy Johnsons? No. No thanks.
I have Zupardi's on its way from Goldbelly.
Oh
New
yeah,
Haven stuff. Yeah.
Zuccardi's. Why does
So
that sound familiar?
Classic New Haven style joint. I think it's in West Haven. I used to spend a lot of time in West Haven. That's where the UConn Law School was back in the day. So I just, I saw it on Goldbelly. I said, God, it's been a long time since I had me some good parties.
We used to have a rule at Fairfield University. We'd go out to New Haven. We'd go to like the Toad's place and party with those girls. Seemed like in my head we were gonna go party with the Yale girls, but it turned out we were partying with the New Haven girls more than the Yale girls, as it turns out. So we would have a rule where like if you go to New Haven for the night and for whatever reason you met a lady friend and you stayed there, somebody would have to go the next morning and pick you up. That was like a house rule.
Right.
That was a good rule.
But that's good. You guys were practicing safe drunk driving, or no drunk driving. Safe drinking.
Safe drinking, safer drinking. Yeah, I mean that was the rule. So good times. Shout out to Toad's place. I hear it's still there.
Dude, Toad's place. The amount of concerts and just fucked up.
Dude, everybody played there, right? Everybody's played at Toad's place.
Toad's and the other good one's Webster's Palace.
Because you know why? Probably not that New Haven's like the greatest place ever. It just happens to be right in between New York City and Boston.
Yep.
So like every band that's playing in New York City and Boston, which a lot would, may as well swing by the old New Haven.
You're exactly right.
Am I wrong?
No, you're spot on. Spot on.
Same
right
thing,
on
by the
route.
way, same thing over in the Lehigh Valley. My father-in-law back in the 50s saw everybody, the Big Bopper, everybody, because it's so close to New York City. So like, they would come, and then Philly's only an hour away also. So my father-in-law, my wife's grandfather, I should say, not my father-in-law, saw them all. All right, speaking of Floppy Johnson, throw up slide 7, please.
Chart on.
So I wake up this morning. I knew what I was going to see. I just needed confirmation. But as it turns out, that's right. Second week in a row, more bears than bulls among individual investors. Third consecutive week of fewer bulls out there now for 2 weeks in a row. More individual investors are bearish equities over the next 6 months than there are bulls. What does that mean to you, Steve Strazza?
Means nothing like price to change sentiment.
That's right. How about the institutions? Throw up the next slide there. So that's shout out to the AAII, but you're also seeing it from the institutions. This one coming from the old Bank of America telling us last week that you had the largest outflows, historic outflows out of equities, third largest week of outflows since the great financial crisis when they started tracking this data. Not just individual investors are scared, but the institutions as well. Steve Strazza, what do you think they're so scared about?
I don't know. I just hope that they keep shorting software stocks because there's going to be some great trades to make there in the future. I think that people don't do the work anymore, JC, and even institutions and even news outlets. And this week was just a really great example of it. People are reading scary things, seeing scary headlines, and not even thinking. Just they're brainless about it. Sell, 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 sell. And that will eventually end, right? And the sentiment will shift. And that whole, all this fear porn will go away. And then we can get back to a normal market. Because a lot of this stuff
porn, back to regular porn.
Yeah, let's get back to regular porn. A lot of this stuff is just so overblown. And I appreciate the folks.
Like the old school porn where like the plumber would show up at the door and Janet Jameson was like, "Oh, thank you for saving the day." Like that kind of, Like, go back and watch it. It's actually really hilarious. I actually saw one of those videos recently. Like, it's actually pretty funny.
I appreciate the smart folks out there who have big platforms trying to talk people off the ledge here. Guys like Josh Brown and Jim Cramer have been coming on for the past couple of days, just pointing out how fucking stupid so much of this is. Jim did a whole bit on it yesterday at the start of his show. Josh has been calling a lot of this stuff straight up
Josh Brown, I was
science
talking to him
fiction.
yesterday, his birthday this week. Josh is now, what is he? 5 years older than me or 4 years older than me? He's almost 50.
You guys are birthday buddies.
We are birthday buddies. Josh,
Birthday buddies.
for years and years and years, Josh likes to throw birthday parties for himself, but he likes to include me. So it's like, oh, it's me and JC's birthday, right? So it's less, right? But he does like to throw the birthday parties. So over the years, you know, and you know, I'm breaking balls, but he's done a good job over the years of kind of getting a bunch of people together. You know, way back in the day, we used to go to happy hours all the time. You know,
Right.
Finswood was a beautiful community that started out in Soho. It was lovely. And then people stopped going out and drinking and making bad decisions. And we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back.
Well,
we want to go out. We want technical analysts getting drunk, making bad decisions. Even the fundamental analysts, guys. I know the technicians party way more than the fundamental analysts. Those guys are boring as hell. But
just generally more fun, but just better fun in the technical
technicians
circles.
are just more fun, particularly on a per capita basis, you know, but even on an absolute basis. You know, you really just see the parties that the technicians have. It's just on another, it's just different. Just hits different. You know, and not to hate on the fundamental community. I love them. I'm incredibly grateful to that entire community, but the parties aren't as good. And by the way, you can ask them and they will tell you, they're like, oh yeah, the parties aren't as good. And the tests are hard.
I couldn't agree more. We have a great time. Let's throw up this comment from the chat because it's so real. Chai Tai says, JC, you guys don't look a day over 30. And I agree. We look great. You especially, buddy. And it's because we love what we do. No stress. We're coming out here. We're passionate about our craft. We get to talk about what we like to talk about and do the things that we like all day. So it's just you living a good life and you just stay young that way. I mean, look at Kenny. Kenny's like 75 years old and he looks 15.
No,
you know?
Kenny does. Kenny's on another. Kenny's like the Benjamin Button of day trading over there. No, dude, I hit me the other day because I'm 44 now. I just turned 44 last week, right? So, or 2 weeks ago, whatever, and a week and a half ago. And so 22 years ago, I was graduating college, right? And 22 years from now, I'm going to be my father and father-in-law's age, and neither one of them can walk. So, like, you know, that's still scary.
Don't think about that. You look great. You're doing great. Healthy guy. Happy, healthy man.
I'm putting up weight too. I'm putting up weight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I see you. Sure.
I'm going in there and I'm kind of impressing myself a little bit. Like I was a pitcher, so I was never known as like Mr. Strong Guy. Like we weren't allowed to do upper bodies back in the day. And I'm not even taking the creatine yet.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You can take creatine? I thought that's bad for you.
Every fucking doctor says to take creatine, and then Strazza, Mr. Health Guy over here, is the one telling me not to. What do you think I should do in the chat, guys?
Everybody used to do it back in the day. It would make you puffy.
I took it in high school, but it's good for the brain too. 5 to 10 milligrams a day. It's good for the brain.
I never would have thought that. See, we like learn things over time. Like the vibe about things really changes. Because back in the day, creatine, like everybody did it, but I remember like the overall thought about it was it's not great for you. It's like free steroids. You put on the water weight.
Well, it's not free steroids. First of all, your body creates creatine. Not that I'm like sounding like I'm some kind of expert. I don't know anything. My understanding is that our body creates it. You give it a little more. How you doing? And you think better. You sleep better. You lift more. What's wrong with that?
The chat is agreeing.
I think it makes you hornier too.
Oh yeah, a little testosterone. Oh, that's great. That's great. I love that for you. I think that's fantastic.
I haven't taken it. I have it. It's in the cabinet. I haven't taken it.
Load the creatine, they're saying.
Load the creatine. I'm telling you right now. All these other stuff, you just like piss it out. But the creatine you can like retain or something like that. All right. We got Jeff Mackey in the house, but I did want to show 2 charts. Throw up slide 9, please.
Is that true? There's creatine in the ribeye? Wow.
Oh yeah. There you go. Shout out to the ribeye. All right, emerging markets yesterday, Steve Strazza, highest close ever. And if you want to back out China, Emerging markets ex-China also hit a new all-time high. South Korea is absolutely ripping, dude.
Yep.
Ripping South Korea. What the hell are they doing over there? Up another 3.5% today. Look at this Kospi, bro. Holy shit.
So that's the EUI for U.S. investors. This thing literally, JC, has gone in a freaking vertical line off of the late December lows. This thing's up 80%. Crazy.
Dude, what's up in Pakistan? Pakistan digging in this morning. You see that?
So that's like Samsung and stuff, correct?
Kospi, yeah. Thailand ripping again. Dude, Italy. Italy's hitting the highest levels.
You know,
ever.
They delisted the pack. We used to have the PAK. Not anymore.
Yeah, but the Pakistan index, the Karachi. It's the Karachi 100 index. Absolutely ripping, digging in. These international indexes absolutely rocking and rolling. Look at the CAC. Speaking of which, that's in France, making new highs. Canada, Canada, new highs today. Shout out to Canada. And then throw up the next slide there, and we'll head over to Jeff Mackey. And then here's your global 100 index, which is a lot of United States. A lot of United States here with some international exposure. All-time highs yesterday, Steve Strazza, for the global 100.
International stocks have been an absolute ripper. I don't think there are great entries in a lot of these country ETFs right now. Sure, you can find some, but I think overall, due for a cool off or some sort of consolidation. I mean, we're going vertical here, internationally speaking. So it looks great over longer term time frames. Fantastic, incredibly bullish. Over shorter term time frames, I'm looking at these charts and starting to get nosebleeds.
You could have said that weeks ago.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We're going pretty parabolic here in some of these. So I would imagine you get a corrective wave, and it's buyable in the future.
All right, what do you say we bring in the myth, the man, the legend, Mr. Jeff Mackey? Bring him out, bring him out.
Whoop, whoop.
Yo, Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Mackey.
What's up, brother? Hey, thumbs up on creatine. Creatine for sure. And you know why? Because the sleep. Sleep is everything. Sleep and diet, man. I went on the creatine. I was on the creatine in the 80s, which was like the GNC dumpster fire of products that were just kind of garbage, and they'd give you amino acids, which is like pouring gas in the trunk of your car. You know, the idea that it's going to build you somehow. Just garbage. But creatine's kind of stood the test of time, and it's for the sleep. It'll help you cognitively. Anyway, I just had to throw that in just because I've been there for a million years.
And from a consumer product standpoint, you are a keen observer of what the humans are purchasing. It seems to me like they're buying the creatine.
They love the creatine. It's having a huge comeback. You know what I love? I love me a brand or a product that parents and their kids are both using it. And so my kid,
yes,
my son came to me with creatine. My son's a jock at the Naval Academy, big meathead, big scrapping guy. And he's like, Dad, I've got this stuff, creatine. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like he discovered. I've got this creatine. I mean, it was amazing. It was like shopping at Abercrombie and Fitch. If you want to catch a product on the rise, man, it's once your kids recommend something that you actually are familiar with.
How much does it increase the testosterone? Because I feel like I got enough of that. I mean,
you think so?
Are you walking around like just horny all day? Like, how does that work?
Pretty much.
Yeah?
But what man's gonna sit here and deny that? I don't know. I'm an old man. I'm happy if that just it's working. It becomes about not waking up 45 times a night to pee is really more your concern in terms of
yes, your nether regions. The creatine helps with that.
Yeah, welcome to your mid-40s, baby. You've got just a world of excitement to look forward to. But you still have your hair, you still have your looks. You're doing great.
How old are you, Jeff? Because you look fucking great.
I'm pushing like 70. 75. No, I'm on the downside. I've got a birthday coming up. I'm 56. I feel good.
You look great, man.
Yeah, thank you. I feel great. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling tan, fit, well rested.
You're turning 56, and then Perlman's right in there. Kenny's right in there. Brian Shannon, like all these guys are like decades older than me, and like they look better than I do.
And you start recognizing like things that happen to your parents and their friends at your age,
Yeah.
and it's horrible. I see people shoveling snow. It just reminds me of like the late 70s, watching all the parents just drop like flies when they'd get out there and shovel snow. These guys didn't do cardio. They probably had like 5 lung darts at lunch and a couple martinis, and they'd come and do snow shovel workouts, which is like doing kettlebells for 3 hours only in your loafers with no warm up, and it's 4 degrees outside. That's about the equivalent of shoveling your driveway. They would have heart attacks up and down the street. Everyone just got.
And this was when? Like what years do you think?
This is like 79, 80. I mean, I just distinctly remember my dad coming home, and it would snow so much in Minnesota that you really literally couldn't get the car in the driveway. And so you'd just have it'd be pitch black, and you'd have all these cars in the street and the headlights in the driveway because the dads were out shoveling snow, trying to get their cars in the damn house. Memories.
Do you think that Americans are in better shape now? Probably
I think that they're familiar with cardio, and I think they're smart enough to realize, like, that little chest pain you're feeling isn't just your body warming up. That's actually you dying. So you get we're aware of being in lousy shape than we were then. It's a few cocktails at lunch for work. That was a normal thing. Not a great idea. Just not something you should be doing.
No, the extent of my day drinking at the office back in the day, like on a Friday, what was it, the Blarney Stone? It was like $5, and you get like a burger, fries, and like a tall boy for like $5. Can't beat that.
Yeah. Did they give you a free cot in the back? I mean, what do you? Not a productive afternoon. You're gonna need a lot of creatine to overcome
this was back
that
in
lunch.
the day. You'd be hungover Friday afternoon anyway. Half the office isn't even there. What the hell's the difference, right? I remember
Fair
that.
enough. Fair enough.
I remember that. And then that was probably the extent of my day drinking back in the day. I mean, I don't do any of that now. But back in the day, that was probably it. Like a Friday Blarney Stone $5 special.
Yeah.
In your 20s, that's not so bad.
No, once you're turning 30, things start to turn around. Once you
just moved to California, and everything's all about health and hugging trees and fucking rainbows and shit. So
absolutely, and athletic apparel brands, man. You want to see
right.
what the kids are going to be wearing next week? Come out here because they're wearing them right now.
Well, speaking of which, my wife's on her 5th pair of On.
Not surprising. We told you about it. They report next week. I love me a theme in earnings, and one of the kind of sub themes that we've gotten in consumers is that the shoe companies have been doing really well, which tells me Nike's probably not. Shoes got poleaxed last year. You look at Deckers, you look at Crocs, they just got absolutely beaten to a pulp last year. But they both came out and they reported stronger than expected earnings, huge margins, which is the big thing for those. With the Hokas, On reports on Tuesday, I think they're going to come up with good numbers. This is a good company. I don't mind the chart that much. You can kind of be constructive on that chart, but what I think and what I believe is that this is just a company hitting on all cylinders. They're going to kind of probably guide to around 30% growth next year. The margins look like software company margins, which is huge for an athletic apparel company. It's not going to last. These things are kind of comets, but when they're going full margin, full price for Ons and selling them to people like your wife, my wife, and another one where, as the Swiss guy running this place said last quarter, the cool kids are wearing the Ons. They're not even trying to sell Ons. I mean, it's the cool kids, they're not even trying to sell kids $200 shoes, but it's happening. So the brand's on fire. And while these brands are on fire, man, you kind of should at least have a piece of them.
And I'm not familiar with this gal. Who is this young lady?
That's Zendaya. Zendaya, you're not familiar with her? She's quite famous. She's Spider-Man's wife.
Spider-Man's wife.
And she's in Entourage. She's the one who's not Sydney Sweeney in Entourage. She's quite good. Very talented young lady. And she's
that show back?
Yeah, that's coming back. And she'll be there. And she's amazing.
Sydney Sweeney's in Entourage too?
Yes, JCG's. I should not be your cultural touchstone here.
Dude, you're so much more in touch with what's going on than me, man. I'm
honestly
in another
makes
world,
me feel
bro.
a little creepy. I mean, it's like I shouldn't be the guy telling you this. I'm way too
I know,
old.
but Jeff,
I did understand.
I'm in a different stage in my life. We just finished Mighty Ducks 3 with the kids, right? Like we're just on a whole different.
Oh, Edina's going back to state. Did you hear that? And Euphoria was the show I was speaking of, not Entourage, because I'm old.
Oh.
But but the Edina High School hockey team on which the Mighty Ducks is based, they're going back to the state championship. That's going to put hockey on the map. That this hockey sport that people have been talking about. That's good stuff.
I'm
Good
sorry,
stuff.
Jeff Mackey, but America, the greatest country in the world at hockey.
Yeah, right. Right? Is there anything better than just hockey at the very highest level? But it's like the NBA, there's just too damn much of it. And so, you see a regular season NHL game and it's like, where did all the excitement and enthusiasm and guys bleeding out on the ice? It's not the same thing. So, but
And I don't
hockey
want to
at
forget
peak
about
level is
Canada.
great.
Canada's great too. Shout out to Canada, second best hockey country in the world. Shout out to
And
our friends
congrats
up
to
north.
them. Really, they were scrappies. I'll get out. They put up a good number. It's the hot goalie. You're not going to beat the hot goalie. It's the hot goalie effect is a real thing. Once those guys start pulling saves out of their ass, it's super hard to
It's
get it
hard to
past
pull
them.
the save out of your ass. Like that's not easy to do.
It's not easy to
Especially
do,
for
but
Cubans. Cubans can't even ice skate.
no, man. But soccer, it doesn't matter. It's the guy throwing strikeouts. It's the pitcher you just can't touch. It's just you can have one player change the tempo of a whole game, and that's what we had last Sunday. It was amazing.
My best pitch was the barrel finder. Speaking of UConn, I got back-to-back home runs hit off me at UConn.
At UConn,
back-to-back home runs hit off me. One of them was a good pitch, like it was low and away, and he just like dinked it out.
Yeah.
And then the other one I deserved. It was a hanging curveball. It still hasn't landed.
Really,
That
really,
one, dead center, just still going. I mean, man,
it happens.
Shit.
It happens. My kid gave up one of those, and he kind of turned around and he looked up and he said, "This West Coast baseball, they play at a different level out here. I don't think I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's not Minnesota where you can play for 6 weeks out of the year, right?
Yeah, exactly. They tend to heat it up a little bit.
All right, so talk to me about the Deckers. This is the what are those shoes that the women wear? Uggs. That's Deckers,
we
right?
got the Uggs, and Tom Brady advertised for Uggs. I believe he's a male type person, but
I remember in the office back in the day, 20 years ago, we used to have a guy, maybe 15 years ago, we used to have a guy who would wear Uggs to work, and they would make fun of him, and he would say, "Tom Brady wears them." That's what he would say. That's the only reason I know that.
And that's honestly a defense anywhere.
That guy threw a computer at me once, actually.
Did he?
Yeah,
so
him right in the face.
He was working through some stuff. That's a great looking chart, though. I mean,
I definitely wasn't being an asshole or anything.
No, I can't imagine that you would have baited him at all with his fuzzy shoes and his determination to wear them. But Ons, just like Crocs, they are not Ons, Uggs, just like Crocs. People have been waiting for them to go out of style forever. The fuzzy shoes, these are fad. They're going to die. They didn't. But the real story here was Hoka. Hoka, the running shoes, the XLs were just huge. And huge margins, huge. The concern had been that Nike was going to come back and no, here comes the big bad Titan and they're going to take share and it's going to be a real problem. It's not. Nike just hasn't been able to get into that top level yet. And that's exactly where On plays. And so, I see that gap and it's like, oh boy, people are leaning too hard against the shoe companies like they are with the software companies now. I like it when the short just becomes kind of institutionalized. We're still a little fresh on the software beating. But I mean, the shoe brands took an entire year last year and they just got slobber knocked. They got taken behind the shed every single time they opened their mouth. And so you just people were taking it for granted that they were short going into numbers, and they're not. Nike's not. It takes a while to kind of turn your brand around. It takes a while to get that shelf space back. And so when On reports next week, they've got a few different headwinds, but if Lulu gets their act together, On's going to be in trouble. If Nike gets their act together, On's going to be in trouble because the margins are going to slow down. The growth is going to slow down. That's not happening yet. And right now, man, if you're running Foot Locker, you are desperate to get Hoka's in there. You're desperate to get On's in there because these are things that you can sell at full price, and it's reflected in these stocks. On has margins of 65%, which is not Nvidia, but it's close. You don't see that in shoes very often.
65% margins, huh?
Just sick. We're selling the most expensive shoes we can at absolutely full price.
And then the next theme that you wanted to talk about is right up your alley. When the kids and the adults are both participating in the theme. I personally have actually never owned a Croc. I've never owned one.
I'm wearing a pair now. I'm
I
a
believe it.
little
I believe it.
embarrassed
And
to admit, yeah,
I see adults. They got like the fuzzy ones for the winter. Yeah,
these
I
are
see it.
stocks
So
right now.
don't. I'm not. I just have never owned one. I don't know.
I'm not proud.
I'm more of an
I'm not proud.
UFO kind of guy. Do you have the UFOs?
But I haven't. I'm not an UFO guy.
Check out the
I mean, I
UFOs.
think once you pick your ugly shoe, you're kind of sold on your ugly shoe. Anyway, same
Fair.
point here though is that
Got
you know
stickiness.
it's we
Sticky
caught
factor.
this actually, portfolio investors. We caught this on the trade. Just we said, listen, it's not going to hang around forever. Crocs has more problems than Deck does actually. But we said it's going to pop, and it popped, and then just kind of back away. This isn't the great chart that Deck is for kind of a longer term. You can make a much better case for Deck, but it was another store where expectations were super low, given up for dead, forgotten, and they came out and said, you know what, we're just really good at making these plastic ass shoes and the gibbets. Those gibbets, the little things that the kids put in, they punch them in the holes. I don't have any of those on my shoes. But they kind of make flashy Crocs. That's been
Yeah,
a
I
trend
see
people
that.
have been waiting to die for
Sell 'em
20
at the
years.
counter. Like they sell the little things, right?
Yeah,
What are they
yeah.
called? Gibbets?
Gibbets. And you know what has ridiculous margins? Little tiny pieces of metallic plastic crap that you sell for $6. Big margins on those. You make them for almost nothing, and you put a little minion or whatever on there, and man, it's unbelievable. And you see Crocs are glorified prison shoes. That's fine. You can make 15% kind of
They wear
trading
them in
the
prison,
earnings
right?
report that
That's a
week. So
big customer, the prison system.
I think they do, yeah.
No, like for real though.
They wear former Crocs, yeah. Well, you're just not going to kick anyone to death wearing a pair of Crocs. I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna hurt your foot, to be blunt. But nurses wear them too for probably entirely different reasons. But it's just brands giving up for dead.
Nurses
Great,
wear the
perfect.
Crocs.
Give them to me all day.
That doesn't
Nurses wear
seem like
Crocs like
comfortable
crazy. Yeah,
walking
they're
around in the
incredibly comfortable.
Crocs.
Oh, defined by comfort. I'm sitting in my home office, JC. Would I have anything on my feet in San Diego? I
Mackie,
could
but
be a
you're
barefoot
sitting.
hippie, and
But
I'm
you're
choosing
sitting
comfort.
in the home office. The nurses are running around for hours.
No,
No,
that's true. That's true. I like to keep it moving. I'm roaming around. Yeah, no, it's the same thing though. They're comfort shoes. You can wear them all day, and no matter what you're doing, unless you're going for a little jog, I would not wear them jogging.
Jeff, a keen observer of the consumer and how the consumer is behaving out there. Where do you think is the biggest disconnect between what investors out there think might be happening versus what actually is happening? Where do you think is the biggest disparity out there?
The biggest disparity is always just what people, or at least for the last 5 years, it's what people are telling the pollsters and what they're saying in terms of their confidence and just bitching in general. I think the way we do surveys is wrong. The Michigan Consumer Index spent 60 years at around 100, and now it's at 50. Your data is broken. But whatever it is, whether we've just gotten crabbier or our national mojo screwed up, whatever the hell you attribute it to, you do get this huge spread between people just wanting to crap all over everything and everything's getting worse. And then people translate and assume that's going to happen in the consumer stocks. And then you hear about Walmart, and you know what? Consumers have been consumers the same as they've always been. They like a nice deal. They like a good price. TJX reported yesterday, fantastic numbers, 5% comps, little better than GDP, which if you're an old retailer, you're a mature company, a little better than GDP is fine. And they're given that same basic proposition. Every 10th hanger at a TJX, they want it to be rationally low priced. They want customers to come in and find that, which is another thing people give up for debt is the idea we go places. We are like AMC reports and everyone says the movie theaters are dead. We're all going to die. No one's ever going out again. IMAX reports, and it's the exact opposite. They couldn't be growing faster. And it turns out that IMAX makes nicer places to watch movies, and they don't own kind of a bunch of crappy real estate or a popcorn company, and it's not a stock scam. People are going to go out. Simon Property Group is at 52-week highs, multi-year highs. That's a mall. People like to go out. People like to be social. The idea that we're just going to sit at home and wait for the apocalypse and everyone's all pissed off, get off the internet. You need to spend less time on the Twitter box. And that's kind of reflected in the consumer numbers. And it's reflected in the guidance that we're going to see from all the retailers. This is a time when you take estimates lower. And so what we heard from Walmart, a beat, and then we're a little cautious on the year. Now, that's just good gaming of your quarter. You're not going to win the year in the first quarter. You're not going to win the football game. You're not going to win anything. No one has insight into Christmas yet. The tariff situation, the Supreme Court throwing out tariffs, that's a headwind. That's a problem if you're running a retailer. But it's so you guide numbers lower and then you beat the crap out of numbers over and over again. That's what TJX did. That's a stock that you just have to own. The most boring 30% up every year stock that you're ever going to find. And people love to take that and impute from it, oh, the consumer's fallen to hell because they like a bargain. That's just lunacy. You know who likes a bargain? Rich people. Rich people love a bargain. That's how they got rich.
I've noticed that.
Yeah. Right.
It's
yeah.
people think that rich people are just like making it rain all day. It's actually the opposite. A bunch of cheap bastards.
No, it's precisely the opposite. The guys making it rain all day are the guys with a nice little cash flow boost. Like however they got it, they're probably not going to keep it, because they just don't respect the money. It's the rich guys. They enjoy a nice little bargain. They enjoy a deal. And so you get all kinds of customers from every demographic group. That's where Target used to be great. That's why I think they can make a comeback, is they were appealing and in fact built on the idea that you could put discount stores into nicer suburban areas and get the housewife factor in there. Get the nice moms coming in there and say, oh, geez, I found a good bargain there at Target. I found a nice little house dress. Found some kids, clothes for the kids. It's nice. If you keep your store clean and you keep it well run and you respect every customer, that's how it works. If you piss people off and let your stores get all sloppy and start losing, you tend to lose those customers. It's been a source of market share for the TJXs of the world, for the Walmart, for the last 3-4 years. They don't have to do much to at least stop the bleeding. And I think stopping the bleeding is going to kind of close that gap between valuation that you see with Target, even with the rally that we've seen, is still about a 15x company. They've got an investor day on March 3rd. March 3rd is a big day. We're going to hear from we're going to hear from Target. We got a lot of stuff going on.
All right, Mackie, we're losing your internet a little bit. We'll let you run. Guys, if you want to see what Jeff Mackie has in his portfolio, click the link. Check out Jeff Mackey's portfolio. Get his trades in real time, longs and shorts, mostly longs. But check that out. And sometimes you get a leverage play, little options trade to boost those returns. Click the link. Get Jeff Mackey's portfolio. Jeff, you are the man. I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, my friend. And happy birthday, belated.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Jeff Mackey, I like how his Minnesota accent comes out when he does the women impression. Like when he does an impression of a woman shopping, his Minnesota accent comes out. You guys notice that? That's funny, right? Minnesota. Shout out to Minnesota. I've only spent like 2 hours of my life in the state of Minnesota. I flew in, had a meeting, and I left. That was it. That's my entire experience in Minnesota. I don't know. What do I need to do in Minnesota? Maybe catch a Twins game? That'd be cool. Maybe like a Minnesota college football game? That would be good. I can't really think of anything else I want to do in Minnesota, though.
I had a layover there once.
Maybe check out some Somali scams. Check that out. See how they're doing.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. It does sound terrible. Mr. Sean McLaughlin in the house. Do we have Sean? Oh, yeah, I could visit Ralph Acampora. That's true. Oh, yeah, duh. Yeah, visit Ralph. All right, done. Good call. My bad. My B. Yeah, we'll go visit Ralph. Uncle Ralph. Shout out, Ralph. Let's bring on Shawnee. What do you say? Johnny, baby.
Can't believe you were forgetting about our friend Ralph. We owe him a visit to visit that barn.
I know. When do you want to go?
Summertime, not winter.
I was going to say probably not in February.
Yeah, June would be a great time. Let's go in June.
June might be a little early.
No,
you gotta go like mid-July before it starts getting cold again.
All right, mid-July, fine.
Because August it starts getting cold already, right?
No, it's fine up there. It's beautiful. Beautiful country, nice and green, a lot of lakes. We could do some fishing if that's your thing. It's not really my thing.
It's a little mountainous. You got some hikes there, right?
I don't know if it's mountainous, but foresty certainly, which is great.
Yeah. All right. I don't know anything about Minnesota. I got nothing. I'm good at other states.
It's like Wisconsin, but don't tell Wisconsin people that.
Yeah, they
get
beef,
really
right? They got
upset
beef.
about that.
Wisconsin and Minnesota, they're beefing.
Oh man, I did a tour of Lambeau Field once, and the entire tour was led by this, like, elderly gentleman, 65 years old, whatever, sweetheart of a guy. But the entire tour, everything that he had to say about the stadium or the team or the city of Green Bay was preambled with a dig towards Minnesota. It was hilarious. Like everything was a dig at Minnesota.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right, Shawnee, baby, here we are. S&P 500 advanced decline line. Highest close ever, emerging markets. Highest close ever. S&P 500 within less than 0.5% from a new all-time high. Dow Jones Industrial Average, 300 points from 50,000. Things out there seem to be pretty good. Pessimism spiking across a lot of different avenues. So mixed signals out of sentiment. As a very open-minded, down for the get down, up for whatever kind of guy. How are you thinking about this market?
I'm looking at my portfolio, and my portfolio is telling me it's a bull market, and that's really all the signal I need. I've got this might tweak your ears a little, JC, but I've got 150 positions on right now. Not all of them are winners, but most of them are, and most of them are bullish. In fact, yesterday I noticed I do have some bearish positions on. I have some put trades on and put spreads and things like that. And I noticed yesterday, for the first time ever, I think, that every single bearish position I had on my books yesterday was losing money. Every single one. Not a few of them, every single one. And to me, that's a signal, right? If they're all marching in the same direction, in this case, the wrong direction, that's something you got to pay attention to. And yeah, I mean, the S&P is still stuck in the range. Yet we had a good day the last 2 days, but we were still stuck in the range. But man, if you look at your positions, if you're trading high beta names like we do, it's still a bull market until proven otherwise.
So what kind of sectors are you focused on? Are you bottom fishing some of this software? Because you nailed the software trade from the short side coming into the year. So nice trade there. Are you flipping it?
I'm not deliberately flipping it. I'm just going where the breakouts are happening. And right now, my biggest positions in tech right now. That's where most of my profits are, and energy. Tech and energy are where my biggest open profits are right now. But I love coming on Thursdays now, because I'm noticing that like Thursdays and Fridays have become my favorite days of the week. Not because I'm hanging out with you on the morning show, although that's nice, but Thursdays and Fridays are days I've come to call gardening days. These are the days when I am pulling the weeds in my portfolio, getting out the trades that aren't performing, and freeing up capital. There's sources of liquidity. These are trades. This is capital I could free up to put in better things that are moving my direction. And I do that every week now, Thursdays and Fridays. And it's great. It clears the mind. It keeps you focused. It keeps you in what's working and not thinking about what's not working. And that little exercise, man, it frees up so much mental energy.
Are you doing any gardening in IRL or just in the market?
In IRL, my wife is the gardener here, the chief gardener of not only my house, but the whole neighborhood. We have a woman across the street converted her whole entire front yard into just a vegetable garden. And it's a year-round project. My wife helps her with that. And the whole neighborhood comes, and it's like free vegetables for the whole neighborhood. We get cucumbers and corn and cherry tomatoes and squash and pumpkins and whatever the hell you need. This year they're already planning what they're going to grow this year, some new stuff. But yeah, my wife's the chief gardener here.
They're making
I just moved dirt.
New vegetables that we didn't have. They're just making things up. I'm learning about new vegetables all the time. Seriously.
Great. Yeah, I mean, it's vegetable gardening here in Colorado is a little bit more of a challenge than where you live, obviously, because it's a drier climate. It takes a little bit more effort. But luckily, our neighbor across the street, her and her husband are just absolute geniuses when it comes to like gardening and farming techniques. They don't have a farm, but they used to own a farm years ago, and they are absolute geniuses making things grow that you wouldn't imagine could grow here in Colorado.
No, that's really I have so much respect for it, because when I moved to California back in 2015, I wanted to do like California things. Like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do yoga, I'm gonna garden, I'm gonna smoke more weed, like I'm gonna do like California things, right? That was like in my head. So I'm sitting at the bar, like we didn't even have a house yet. I'm sitting at the bar talking to the locals, and I was like, yeah, I was telling them about my plan to do California things. They're like, oh, any idiot can garden here. And I'm like, really? Well, that's good to know, because this guy coming from New York City, very much on the idiot side of the equation when it comes to gardening. And boy, were they right. Any idiot can garden in California. All you got to do is water the shit. Sun's not a problem. Just got to put water. That's it. As long as it's got consistent water, you get one of these doohickeys on Amazon for $20. Man, I had all kinds of things growing. We'd go on vacation, come back. Man, these zucchinis were like the size, like they were just enormous zucchini. They just kept growing and growing.
Well, this gardening thing, relates well to trading, right? And like being a gardener in California is like being a stock trader in a bull market. Like everyone can look like a genius, right? But the thing that gardening teaches us, which is so relevant to trading, is you have to have patience. You got to let things work. You got to let nature do its thing. You got to let the sunlight do its thing. You got to water these things from time to time, and you got to pull weeds. I mean, that to a T is what I do in my portfolio every day, every week. I'm glad we're talking about gardening. This is great.
No, I love it. All right. So Thursday, Friday is gardening day over Shawnee's portfolio. Anything you're thinking about cutting? Any weeds that you want to get out of?
Yeah.
Sector-wise, you don't have to name any tickers, but sector-wise?
Boy, I'm gonna get out of that Circle. Man, Circle started to be a great trade for us. Luckily we sold half as according to our plan and all-star options. We stepped on the shorts when it broke below the IPO low. We got a good whoosh. We were able to sell half, so that's good. And thankfully we did that because you saw what it did yesterday. So we're gonna close this trade down. But the good news is that whatever I sell the rest of that position for today is profit. Doesn't look like a trade on a put side should be a profit in that trade, or doesn't look like it should be a profit, but because we sold half when we did, we're going to have profits. I'm going to get rid of Mosaic today and Helix, HLX, RTX, EQT, Oxy. These are all going out the door today unless they have a furious rally in the next 20 minutes, which I doubt. Microsoft, I'm going to get out of. Yeah. All over the place, JC. All over the place. And the thing is,
what about on the in? What about on the in? Putting more risk on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. The way I do it, JC, is I look at all the research that you guys publish and other research as well. But I look at all the research and the charts that I like, I put alerts into my platform at prices that I would like to buy them. And when those alerts pop off, that's when I get in. So, I'm telling you right now, some alerts that just popped off on my screen are SRE, MAC, Amgen. Amgen's one I tried to buy yesterday. Couldn't get into it. I'll definitely be trying to get into that one today. Yeah, we'll see. I wait for the signals to pop. Again, patience. I'm just sitting here. I know the levels I want to buy. I don't need to babysit them. I just let my platform tell me when it's time, and that's it.
I love it, Shawnee. What do you say we do a little recess and get out of here? Market's open.
Let's do it. I got trading to do.
Hit it. I want to give a big shout out to sleep. Sleeping is great, man. Underrated. Dude.
A shout out to sleep. All right.
Big shout out today. My recess is sleep, man. It really, really is a superpower. Get a good night's sleep, and you can't sleep well if you eat like shit. We've all been there. Stomach hurts in the middle of the night. Esophagus is all acidy. That's no good, man. You eat well, get a good night's sleep. Don't drink too much. You wake up the next day super refreshed. I want to give a big shout out to sleep.
All right. I'm going to give a shout out to my son's basketball team. They got the season-ending tournament coming this weekend. It's been a tough season, but I have a feeling they're going to finish strong. My son stepped up this year into a higher level, a competitive basketball league, and it's been a challenge, but I've seen him become a better player, and it's going to pay dividends as the middle school season next year when he can finally play at middle school. It's going to pay off. So big tournament this weekend. We're going to finish strong. We got 4 games. Go Lightning. Go Lightning. That's the team name.
All right. Shout out to Sean's son's basketball team. And I know a lot of you guys are interested in earnings. Izzy, if you could drop the link. The beat report is listen, all these websites, these fake websites, you know, they're just driving traffic. They'll just take free earnings data and they'll slap on some AI thing and call it some kind of like, you know, new fancy tool. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. There's a reason nobody uses this crap. A lot of this information is free. You could use the AI to tell you what the earnings call did. Like, everybody has that. Like, it's not special. What you need is a way to quantify how the market feels about those earnings. And that's what all these websites that are lying to you, they don't do any of that stuff. That's what Steve Strazza has been developing for over 3 years. It's called the Beat Report. Find out what actually matters in these earnings and how to profit from them and get the trades in real time. Izzy just dropped the link. That's the Beat Report. Nobody out there is doing it like Steve is doing it. So big shout out to Steve and the team. It took you guys long enough. It only took them 3.5 years to finally put this together. But well worth it. Well worth it. This is sick. It's so sick. Nobody's doing it out there. Click the link and go check that out. I want to give a big thank you to Mr. Steve Strazza for joining us today. I want to give a big thank you to Jeff Mackey, the man, the myth, the legend. Spencer Israel out today. Kenny Glick in Las Vegas also out today. All these folks gallivanting all over the place. Sean, thank you so much for coming in here very consistently, telling us what you're doing, what's on the radar. And guys, thank you to all of you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to be here with me and the rest of the crew. And I want you to know I appreciate that. Adios. See ya. Catch you on the next one.
Run it.